Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Mindfully Making a Difference podcast. I'm your hostess, Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and it has truly been a pleasure to present this podcast of information to you thus far. Hope you're finding it helpful out there. How you been? Well, if you have been joining me, you know that we're working on our overall wellness. You know that we are reading from the Creating a Healthier Life, Step-by-Step Guide to Wellness, SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's Guide to Overall Healthier Living. SAMHSA is very well involved with the overall research and policy making and knowledge-based understanding for all things mental health and substance and alcohol use and abuse. And so we are reading from their overall improving our physical wellness. Perhaps physical wellness isn't your area that you want to start with. That's what I love about this guide. It's very hands-on. Maybe you want to start with your emotional wellness, your spiritual wellness, your intellectual wellness. Perhaps your environmental wellness, financial wellness, occupational wellness, or your social wellness. Guys, SAMHSA's research supports the fact that when we don't focus on a well-balanced overall plan for living, that we shorten our life. And especially my citizens in the community that are mentally health challenged, we have to start realizing the harm that we are placing ourselves in continuously when we're living in social environments where we're constantly stressed. We talked about toxic stress, worrying about a job, whether or not we have enough money to put food on the table, whether or not we're going through emotional or domestic abuse, whether or not we are victims of unresolved trauma, something that we've experienced that we're still holding on to, and it's manifested itself in our lives in a negative way. All of these impose health hazards upon us. And because by nature, lower income, black citizens, our health choices are lopsided, meaning that we don't generally always have access to the best care systems or comprehensive systems of care. And that's why things like wellness kind of are not a part of our routine. And for those of you that it is, then great. Then help us to spread the word to the masses, because the whole goal is to help us live our best quality of life. And SAMHSA's research supports that in the 8 areas of wellness, that when we are consistently and mindfully, there's our word, mindfully, when we're mindfully making an effort to focus on the 8 areas of wellness in our living, then we can overall improve our longevity and the quality of our life. And that's the whole basis of my work. On the community level, we are often engaging with families that are dealing with slumlord housing concerns. And as advocates, as mental health advocates, we have a grave responsibility for educating our city and our elected officials of the dangers of leaving folks living in these situations. Toxic stress can kill. Toxic stress causes depression, anxiety, and other mentally, emotionally, and psychological onsets. And so that's why it's important that we help you guys to stay empowered to speak out, because no family, no child, no individual should have to live with unsafe and unhealthy housing understandings. And so there's a lot to this mental health, and that's why we always tell you mental health matters. It's so complex. We don't want you to just lose yourself to the understanding that it's just about a diagnosed understanding and forget or not be aware of all of the other elements to staying healthy and keeping your mental health stable. No one wants to talk about it when it's not stable. No one wants to be labeled as having a mental health challenge. But the truth of the matter is there are many levels. My apologies, my phone just fell. There are many levels to mental health challenges and understandings and diagnosis. And we just simply intend to keep the awareness raised and to make sure you guys know where you can find help and support and non-judgment understandings, because At the core of everything we feel that you want to accomplish in your life, you're going to want to have sound mental health. And maybe today everything's fine, but tomorrow you find out some very hard news, something that's very grief concerning, something that maybe, there's a relationship that's ending that you weren't prepared for. Being in control of our overall mental health, it requires a lot. And the best thing that we can do for ourselves is to adopt a daily routine of focusing on our wellness. In our last session, we talked about the areas of focusing on our nutrition, talked about having access to fresh and healthy food. We also talked about looking at our diet, and we talked about setting small goals to change something about our negative eating. We talked about checking with your local food co-ops to see if you can't find understandings for healthy recipes. We have the power of Google at our fingertips, and so there's much information. We talked about being able to access www.choosemyplate.gov for recommendations on healthy eating. Guys, we can't do this all at one time. We take baby steps. The goal is to make the commitment. Are you looking in your mirrors out there? What's your acknowledgement today? What have you learned about yourself since we've been talking? What kinds of things could you work on? Well, maybe physical wellness isn't your area, as we talked about. Maybe there's another area you're going to work on. That's what I love about this SAMHSA guide. It's so hands-on and so self-sufficient. We talked about physical activity, and when I finish this episode, I am going to partake in a physical activity for 1 hour. I'm going to immerse myself into a game of tennis with a dear colleague, and I'm looking forward to jump-starting my consistent focus on getting my weight together and overall my health. Yeah, the pandemic got me too. Got you out there. What was your wellness goal for the week, for the month? Do you have one? Well, this is Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and we're simply mindfully trying to make a difference in someone's life by getting us to focus on the preventative understandings that we can impart in our daily living for a sound mental health. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. SAMHSA, Substance and Mental Health Services Administration, they want us to understand that we should be striving to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. What about you? How's that working for you? I can probably commit to 6. That's 7 or 8. I'm trying. I'm working on it. You're a workaholic out there like I am? That's not a good thing. It says, are you avoiding large meals before going to bed? If not, you should. Are you avoiding exercising within a few hours of bedtime, as well as screen time? Many of us like to be on that internet. Guys, it's all about knowing better so we can do better. Today, the alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs is also another area in this focus on our overall physical wellness. SAMHSA talks about having tools that can help you cut down or quit using tobacco, alcohol, or other drugs. Are you reaching out to family or friends instead of using these substances when you're going through a tough time? Are you? Are you being mindful of triggers that make you want to use substances? And do you have a plan that can help you to avoid them? These are some great questions. Guys, SAMHSA further recommends that you find a support group. Alcoholics Anonymous is recommended, and also Narcotics Anonymous. They've been around for some time. The beauty of dealing with challenges in today's society is that we have Google at our fingertips. The beauty of Google is that we can find out all kinds of understandings and information and help at addressing things that we need to address. So what about it? Are you looking in your mirror? Are you someone that needs to address your alcohol or your tobacco or your narcotics or usage? Narcotics being another word for drugs, whether prescription or otherwise. Are you abusing your drug usage? And again, this is a no judgment zone. So we're asking you to look in that mirror. This is the part of the treatment where you are accountable. Remember we talked about mental health being the satisfactory control of your thoughts, your psychological, behavioral, and emotional understandings. Well, drug abuse can be looked at the same way. Is your drug usage or partake thereof, is it satisfactory? You know. Is it keeping you from being productive? Guys, these are the tough conversations we have to have with ourselves out there. You need a drink before you can get going for the day? How can we change that? Smoking too many cigarettes? My beautiful mother, which all of you know, hopefully by now you've looked us up at mymotherskeeper.com. We have social media. We do this beautiful work for my beautiful mom, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was 10 years old. And I wish I could go back in time, because we know from research now that smoking is synonymous with folks that are diagnosed with schizophrenia, and smoking is something that my mom did for many, many decades. We recently were able to successfully get her to get done with those cigarettes, and we were so proud, and we still are very proud of her for being so brave. My mom is such a hero, such my hero. She's challenged so much, and still she stands, still she rises. And now we're dealing with our latest bout, and had we been able to help her make healthier decisions in her wellness overall, while we were still helping her to understand her mental health challenges and diagnosis, we may not be dealing with some of the health challenges that we find ourselves dealing with to keep her healthy. This is Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and we're mindfully intending to make a difference in your life with someone that you love, because we can all do something. SAMHSA did the research, and you're saying that if we don't do better about creating a healthy balance in our life in our areas of wellness, we're going to shortchange our living. We're dying sooner than we have to. Is that your intentions, guys? I sure hope not. Let's look at medication safety is another area. We just finished talking about the alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. What about the medication safety, which is so important? Many of you are prescribed medicines, and many of you, are you prepared when you go out? It says, do you wear medical alert jewelry to help others help you? Are you storing medications properly and reviewing the expiration dates? Be mindful, our children are watching, guys. Do you carry a list of your medications with you in a case of emergency? That's another good one. One, we have to make sure we're keeping these medications out of the reach and grasp of our children, because they are soaking up everything that we do. Are you talking to your doctor to talk about any decisions you have of insecurity for any medicines that you've been prescribed? Many people have addictive spirits. Is that you? And if so, what are you doing to be preventative about your exposure to becoming addicted to prescription medicine when you have to take prescribed medications? This is Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and we're talking about improving our overall physical wellness. We've covered areas of nutrition, physical activity, sleep, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, medication safety. Preventative medicine is the next area. Preventative medicine, do you visit your doctor, your dentist, or other healthcare provider for routine care and monitoring? Do you know how to check your blood pressure, waist circumference, and blood sugar to prevent chronic conditions like diabetes? I like that word, waist circumference. Do you know what your waist size is? Many of us, not until we go to buy a decent pair of jeans do we check our waist sizes. Guys, all of this is important in staying healthy. SAMHSA wants you to discuss preventative health care with your doctor, dentist, or other health care providers. They want you to visit your local public health center, and they want you to find a health center at http://findahealthcenter.hrsa.gov. They want you to also consider seeing a holistic health provider or attending community health fairs. Knowledge is power, guys. Do you know what holistic health refers to? Western medicine is pretty much what we subscribe to. We have our HMOs, our primary care doctors, our physicals, our scans, our mammograms, our whole understanding of our healthcare routines are mostly embedded upon the Western understanding for most of us. Holistic is more based on herbs and positive energy understandings and wellness routines. Part of worrying about and focusing on your overall wellness adopts a holistic approach. Guys, you don't have to take my word for it. Google. I love the power of Google. And we're spelling holistic HOLLISTIC. Did I put 2 L's in that? Forgive me, HOLISTIC. This is Dr. Rhonda L. Hamilton, and it is my intentions to mindfully make a difference by continuing to raise the awareness surrounding matters of our health, and most importantly and most especially, matters of our mental health. How you doing out there? Are you writing in your journal? Are you starting to realize anything different about yourself? Well, maybe it's too soon. You recall we told you that this is a marathon, not a sprint. Well, I challenge you today to write something in your journal regarding your efforts to change something small about yourself. Definition of insanity says to do the same thing expecting different results is just insane. So today I'm challenging you to change something different about yourself. Doesn't have to be anything major. We're going to work over the series of these episodes on our overall wellness. And we've got matters of occupational, social, economical, environmental, you name it. But today we're focusing on our physical wellness. Choose something in each area of your physical wellness to improve, whether it be your diet, physical activity. Maybe you're going to commit to doing more of it. Joining a gym, a local group, someone to motivate you to stay moving. Are you gonna commit to getting more sleep out there? Are you gonna push back from the drugs, the alcohol, or the tobacco usage? Medication safety. Are you someone who is currently prescribed medicines? Are you diabetic? Are you someone who has high blood pressure? Do you have any other ailments that you should carry your medications as well as have some sort of a health identification bracelet so that others can help you when you're out and about? Preventative medicine. Are you on top of your wellness? Are you seeing your doctors and your dentists and your psychiatrists and your therapy understandings? Are you up on those? Are you consistent? Because when you are, that is the practice of supporting positive and overall wellness and extending your living. I appreciate you for tuning in another episode. It's now time to do our stretching and to get ready to do some sort of a physical activity. And everybody's journey is different. I'm choosing to do something for an hour because I got a lot more to work on. And I'm going to get more physical in that I'm going to partake in a game of tennis. You might decide to sit in a chair and lift your legs or lift your knees a couple of times. Whatever you choose to do, be consistent. Let's stay motivated. And let's let ourselves off the hook and be excited that we started. It's time to start celebrating you. This is Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and today we commit to mindfully making a difference in our overall wellness. I thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited to continue to bring you this content, as well as introduce you to some of my beautiful guests along the way. But guys, the work we do starts with you and I. Remember, we're writing in our journey daily. We're writing in our journals daily about our journey. How about that? We're writing about our journey daily in our journals. That's a tongue twister. We are also waking up and looking in the mirror, and we're finding something positive about ourselves to remind ourselves that ours is a life not only worth living, but worth loving. And the next time we hear somebody say mental health, we're not going to panic, because we might understand that mental health also understands folks with schizophrenia and folks that are depressed or folks that are diagnosed with bipolar, our dear community members and loved ones. We're also going to understand that mental health is about us making positive strides in our overall wellness, because we're all human and stress will find us. Life will happen. What kind of boundaries have you set? What kind of positive, healthy understandings have you adopted so that you don't shortchange your life from constantly worrying and constantly being stressed, constantly arguing and stressed with members in your family, on the community level, in a lover's quarrel or relationship, you name it, arguing with the children, always being short breath, always eating fast food, chest pains, ignoring the pains in your arm, your back, putting off your doctor's appointments. You'll get to them eventually. Come on, guys. Is this your reality? I'll just have a drink at the end of the day and it'll all go away. Let me hit that pipe, hit that line of coke, and it'll all be better. Is it? Is it all better? Guys, this is Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and I'm asking you to mindfully make a difference in your life by being willing to do the work. Look in the mirror. Acknowledgement is the first step. We can get through this together. This is a no judgment zone, and we're all going to commit to living our best lives, because SAMHSA did the research, and SAMHSA has taught us that we need to be better about focusing on our overall wellness so that we can improve our living. Guys, depression is real, and so is suicide out there. Mental health matters. It's time for us to adopt a plan for our overall wellness so that when life happens, we don't find ourselves unstable and ready to leave here. Don't wait for it to happen. Let's not live reactively. Let's live proactively. Let's take control of who we are and where we are. Let's set goals, small and large. Let's look in the mirror. Let's commit to writing in our journals. And let's remember something positive about ourselves and our being daily. Because you have the power. You have the power to create systems and balances in your life in order that you can live your best life, regardless of what your diagnosis is. Your diagnosis is just one part of your character and one part of who you are. You have the power. This is Dr. Rondell Hamilton, and I thank you for allowing me to mindfully make a difference in your life or the life of your loved ones. Please share this information. Don't hold it on to yourself. Well, I've got to get ready to go exercise. What are you getting ready to go do? Until we speak again, I'm reminding you, holding you accountable to mindfully make a difference in someone else's life. God bless you until we speak again. Great job.